Hey guys, EDDBUD here for the 12th live stream, I believe. I think it's 12, I think so. How are you all doing in the chat? There's already loads of people here congregating in the chat. Hope you've all had a great day. It's been quite a taxing week really up to now. As an academic, I work at a college, also a higher education establishment, university. And it's been pretty tough going this week. It's kind of tying up loose ends, ready for the summer break. And we've also had a guy in replacing the carpet in the house here. So I've been moving lots of stuff. It's still not sort of finished. And I'll tell you, it's a really, really good workout, warm-up, I guess. I'm feeling pretty tired now, and I've not even been out for a run today. That's a very seldom does that happen, I guess. How are you all doing in the chat? I hope you had a great day. Who we got here? Let's have a look. We've got Steve. It looks like he's been running in the Hyperion tempos today. Hope those are doing okay for you, Steve. Thomas is in the house. He's saying to someone to foam roll. He'll get the foam roller out. There's never a day when the foam roller can't come in useful. Roadrunner Reviews is in the house. He says, as soon as let me travel to Europe, I'll eat everything in England. Blood. Oh, do you mean that they call it black pudding over here? I think that's what he means. That's, yeah, it's not my sort of thing. Everybody's I think the live stream's actually finally caught up now. Everyone's watching, which is good. There's a little bit of a delay possibly. Michael Sessler's in the house. We've got Rob Weatherall. How you doing, guys? Soupy Runs is here. Mano says it, I will try soaking it in hot water. I wonder what he's going to soak in the hot water. I'm not entirely sure. But make sure it's not too hot. Oh, the Epsom salts as well. I know Seth's big into his Epsom salts. Awesome. We got Steve A. Lol Monster's here. We got Luke Acorn is in the house. How are you doing, Luke? Hope you've been doing some running today, buddy. Joe Mullin is here. We got a super chat from Lol Monster. Thank you very much. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Have you guys been out running today? I bet you have. Or you're planning to a bit later. I'm going to... I think I'm going to go out in the Endorphin Pro. Just because I think I need something quite cushioned under my feet today. I've been going up and down the stairs many times, hoovering. I'm just exhausted. I feel really tired. Well, if I get out there, I think after the first mile, I think I'll be okay. So we got Mr. Random is here. Project David is here. How do you deal with shin splints, Ed? I always suffer with shin splints. No, I don't think I've ever had shin splints. Not to my knowledge, anyway. I don't think I have. If any of you got any advice for Project David, let him know. Mariella Van Oort is here. Hi Ed, good to see you. Good to see you too, Mariella. I hope you're having a great day. James is in the house. Hello. Andrew Graham's here. Says, evening all. Any luck with the Adizero Adios Pro sweepstake? No, I hit an L on that one. Completely didn't get it. I haven't seen anyone. I haven't seen anybody that got it. I don't know. If you know of anybody, let me know in the comments. I haven't heard of anyone getting them. Maybe it's just like a fake shoe and they're just doing it for publicity or something. Who knows? Thomas says, evening Ed, wife is out, so I'm excited to step into the shoe sanctuary tonight. Especially after a Sheffield United win. Awesome. So yeah, you can enjoy the shoe sanctuary. Here it is in all its glory with many shoes. Actually, there's a shoebox which is precariously placed up there. I just moved it down. We don't want any health and safety hazards in the shoe sanctuary. Be too much paperwork and stuff to work through. We don't want any of that business. Maybe we need a risk assessment in the shoe sanctuary. You have to have a risk assessment to do anything these days, especially now as well. Can you imagine trying to do anything with the current climate? It would just, just going to the shops is kind of an achievement, isn't it? Striker 11427 says, Ed, I'm honestly hella sad. East Bay listed the Tempo Next Percent 2 days ago to release today, then they were cancelled. Yeah, I've seen some pictures around Striker about that. Someone sent me some Instagram pictures earlier of the Tempo Next Percent, different colourways as well. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be available anywhere or anything like that. Yeah, it's going to get warm in here, guys. I'm going to have to rip open the shirt, the Vote for Pedro shirt on today from Napoleon Dynamite. One of my real favourites, this one. And it kind of goes with the hat as well. Soupy Runs loves a bit of the old black pudding. Yeah, it's not for me, that one. Oski 501 is clapping, and Steve is thumbs up. Bruno says, was I the only one who saw the Triumph 18 being sold? Yes, the Triumph 18 is out. Someone sent me a message about that this morning. There's a really cool red colourway. It looks really beautiful. But I want to get a few bits of info about it. I want to know if it's a bit lighter, because the big issue with the Triumph 17 for me, well, the only issue really, it was a bit too padded, a little bit too heavy. So if they can reduce that a little bit for me, then I'm all in. Frank Lahulier's done 21 miles today in the Nova Blast. Awesome stuff. I need to do at least 10 later on, I think, to keep up the numbers. I want to try and get a 50 in for the week, so I've got a lot of miles to run over 3 days otherwise. Yeah, I'm going to have to do 10 later. I'll grind them out. Super Runs did his 4 miles this morning at 6 AM. Yeah, I should have got out early like you, CP. I should have done it. Joe, he did 10 this morning as well. Awesome. We have, Oski says, have you ever tried, had recovery from a back injury? Yeah, it must have been about 6-7 weeks ago now, Oski. I get a bad back. I'm quite a tall guy, and what was I doing to get it? I think I was moving some stuff outside, and I'm terrible for it, just about bending like this rather than using my knees. And yeah, I really hurt my back. It took about a week, maybe 10 days to just slowly ease it. I do a little bit of yoga, in fact, to try and relieve the back, work on that core, try and do some very light dynamic stretches to work on your core, that lower back. It's very important. We got Frank says the thing that cures shin splints for me is running on grass. Oh, there you go. So yeah, perhaps find your nearest field and get doing some running on the grass. But watch out for the ticks. If it's long grass, you've got to be a bit careful on that sort of thing. Steve A says hoovering isn't resistance training. Oh, it felt like it. Where the new carpet's in, there's all these like kind of little bits everywhere, all over the carpet, and they had to be hoovered. I couldn't leave them there. They were really bugging me. I needed to get them in that hoover. Bruno says for shin splints, try reduce heel strike and increase cadence. I think that's valid, but I think when a lot of us slow down, I think regardless of how hard you're trying to land on that midfoot and forefoot, it can get quite tough, and I think people do go back a little bit to the heel, so it can be a little tough. But nonetheless, it is a good suggestion. Roadrunner Reviews has got an interesting solution there as well. You could try that one out, Project David. And yeah, Joe's got some too, so get hold of him on Instagram and he will help you out. Rocky Runs, he says for shin splints, stretching the calves helps in strengthening your calves. It works. It's true. I think that's a good suggestion. James Copeland went out in bright sunshine, then ended up in a thunderstorm. Yeah, it's been a bit like that recently, hasn't it, James? You get out there and suddenly the weather can change. I got baked by the sun the other day, and then soaked, and then baked again. It was an experience, that's for sure. Mariella's having a rest day after a streak of 6 consecutive days. Awesome stuff. I think I'm on like 59 days now. Yeah, the last few days have been hard, I think, especially with all the extra move-in and stuff. The carpet chap he was going to have someone else with him, but alas, they weren't able to work with him. So I had to move some big bits of carpet, like 6-7 meters or something. It wasn't easy. Mark says, what's up everybody? We're doing good, Mark, we're doing good. Aaron says, good evening. He's a fellow shoe enthusiast from the Isle of Man. Good to see you in the chat, Aaron. Manic Mike says, hey there, what's your take on the new Jordan Grape alternatives? Yeah, I did see those, Manic Mike. I kind of quite liked the colourway and the change up with the Jumpman on the back of the shoe. I think it would have looked a bit weird with the Nike Air on the back. But I did like those. I think it was on Foamer Simpson's channel where I was watching that one, possibly even this morning. Very interesting colourway. For me though, if I could, I'd have the infrared, you know, the black and red version of the 5. That would be nice. I don't think I'd feel quite so sad about taking them outside in the terrible English weather, Mike, if I had the black version. Mark's just put in his order for the Endorphin Speed. Should be fun to pair with the Pro. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the Speed. I think they're arriving tomorrow, so there's an opportunity possibly for initial review tomorrow or probably Saturday. I think we've got some antenatal class things going on Saturday, some virtual stuff. So yeah, possibly Saturday for that one. Roadrunner Reviews likes the shirt. Yeah, I love Napoleon Dynamite. It's one of my favourite films. If only I could dance as well as him. Paul Slater says, Eve Ned, any ideas where I can make my Nova Blast tighter on the feet? After 100 miles they're so loose on my feet. Change the laces out, Paul. I found that the laces really didn't work too well for me with those. I would change the laces up. Maybe try some other insoles in there as well. I did put some, I think they were the Peg 36 insoles into my Nova Blast for a little while, just to experiment a little bit. I think there's a little bit of Bowerman in me somewhere. I like to tinker around with shoes a little bit. And that helped, that might improve things a little bit. What I found with the Nova Blast was, as you're hitting on the midfoot, it compresses quite a bit and it leaves you even more space over the top of your toes, over the top of the foot. So try that out and see how you get on, Paul. Martin says his dad loves my videos. I'm using his account and can give you him a shout out. I'm using his account. Okay, Martin Gichui. I hope I've said that right, Martin. How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Project David says, I'm an underrated YouTuber. I don't know how you have more subs. Well, in fairness, you know, I kind of kicked things off with the channel like a year or so ago. So I think I'm really, really pleased with where I've got to right now. And I want to keep moving forward. To do that, I am working with somebody at the moment to get some merch ready. It's looking really good, actually. Really incredible designs. I'm really pleased with those. And as soon as they're kind of ready to rock, that merch will be out there. Be a little bit more, I wouldn't say branding, but there'll be a little bit more visual kind of direction on the channel as well. So do watch out for that. I really do appreciate your kind words. Thank you, Project David. The chat's absolutely crazy today. Let's see if I can figure out where we were. So Rob Weatherall says the Triumph 18s came out yesterday with the rest of the Endorphin line. Yeah, they're really rocking it at the moment. Saucony, they're really making hay while the going's good. I don't know, something like that. You know what I mean. Yeah, I saw, Steve, that Kafuzi prefers the Speed to the Pro. That's an interesting one. I am interested to see what that plate is like, the nylon plate that's in the Speed. Yeah, I know Mike really liked those. And when Mike likes a shoe like that, you know it's going to rock. You know it's going to be good. T-Man Tony says, Saucony Triumph 17 or the New Balance 1080. I go Triumph 17. Unless you're in a very warm climate, of which I would go for the 1080. It's just a bit too padded, the 17. Bruno says he heard the 18 is less padded but the same weight. and they've replaced the crystal rubber with blown rubber or carbon rubber. That's all we want. We want less upper weight. That's a bit of a shame. I'll have to do a bit of research. Thanks for that, Bruno. Manic Mike says, will I review the Fresh Foam More V2? Possibly a little bit down the line. I do want to get a very highly cushioned shoe at some point for the long runs. That's something I'm kind of lacking in terms of something to review. So I'll look out for perhaps something along those lines, Manic Mike. Ethan says, did you try and get the Adidas Adios Pro? Yes, I have got one of those coming in the dark blue colourway, so that should hopefully be here soon, Ethan. Rob says, did anyone go for the Saucony Shift? I am tempted, maybe between that and the Triumph 18 actually. We've got loads of comments here today. I have to try and work through these a little faster if I can. Frank says the Triumph 18 is not available in the US yet. Yeah, I think it's just a UK release for the time being. Mike Gamber is in Tennessee, USA, loves the channel. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for tuning in. Fuelcell Speedrift, yay or nay? I tell you what, Mike, I think I need to get out in it a few more times. On the Tuesday when I did my initial review, I was really tired. And it took quite a lot just to get up to some tempo paces, really. I was that exhausted. So I like it. It's a really comfortable shoe, I've got to say. It feels really good. You get some, in terms of underfoot cushion, it's got some really good pop as you push off. Lockdown was superb in the shoe, I have to say. So I'm not discounting that one yet. Yes, it kind of looks completely weird and bizarre. A few people said, well, you know, why did you get it? Well, I kind of wanted to review it because it was something a little different. Lots of people are knocking out the same shoes at the moment. Everyone's going down this carbon plate line, and that's great. Some of them are good, some of them aren't working out so well for people. And I just thought, this shoe's different. I'm going to give it a whirl. I'm going to give it a try. I like things like that. I think you've got to do that every so often to see how they work out. So at the moment, I'd say it's a yay for me. It was nice, a beautiful underfoot feel. Jenna Tools is here. Hello, how you doing, Jenna? Rob Weatherall, I want to know why shoe manufacturers can't make shoes to order like you would with a phone. Yeah, it makes you wonder whether that might become a thing over time, Rob, to try and minimise uses of materials, perhaps, to lower the distribution costs, all that kind of thing. How many times do we buy a shoe and just doesn't work out for us and we've got to send it back, and of course lose some time there. And not everybody's got that real ability to be able to say, yeah, I'm going to spend all this money on this shoe and gamble on it when it may not work out for us. So I think that's a very valid point. Mano says, hey Ed, what was for dinner? I have pan-fried sea bass fillet, miso soup, salad, rice. Oh wow, that sounds really good. Mrs. EDDBUD did some lovely omelette again. We had some mushrooms in there. I had a little chilli in mine. She doesn't like the chilies. And we had some spinach, a few different cheeses in there, and some red onions. Really, really good. Really good. And some just simple bread and butter. Just simple sort of stuff. So I'll at least have to give it half an hour after the live stream finishes before I head out. I always try and leave a couple hours after I've eaten, or it's a recipe for disaster. See what I did there? Marielle Van Oort, 59 is insane. Hopes to be able to do sometime, but still building the base. Yeah, build it up nice and slow, Mariella. That's the key, is be consistent. Get out there when you can, but just building up over time. The last thing you want to do is rush too much at it, too fast, too many miles. That's the road to disaster. I'm not sure how I pronounce this one. I've missed it now. Where are we? Grand Signe Cedric says, why nobody seems interested in the Prism from New Balance. Well, there have been a few reviews of that one I have seen recently. Who reviewed the Prism? Can't remember who it was now. Somebody did a good review on the Prism recently. DD says, vote for Pedro. Alright. Bridgemaster X. Tried to get the Endorphin Speed, but they'd sold out in the 10.5. Yeah, I was really lucky. They had 111 left in up and running. That was it. I think there was that and like a size 7. I was really lucky. I say I almost slept on that shoe. I wasn't ready. Joe Mullins got some Odyssey React Flyknits to arrive tomorrow. Awesome, Joe. New shoe day. There's nothing like it, buddy. I hope you enjoy those new shoes. Let me know how you get on with those. Crespin Gricko says it's been an awful year for all of us. Historically, yeah, it's going to be one of those years where people won't ever forget it. And let's hope that some lessons possibly are learnt about human nature, about how we deal with things, and to remember how precious everything is, how precious the opportunity every time we get to go out and run. If it's a mile, if it's 10 miles, whatever, it's a really precious thing. Every race that you do in the future, think about how important it's going to be. You've got to really give it everything. You know, next time you're struggling towards the end of a race, just say, hey, I'm really lucky to be doing this race. Just give it everything you've got. Positives can always be taken, even when there are so many negatives like there have been of recent time. There are always positives that we can grab and we can hold on to and use to help us. Mr. Jameson, we will forgive you for being late. Thank you for being in the chat with us here. Didi's ordered the Saucony Ride. That's been getting some good reviews. I haven't seen too much on that one. Maria's interested in my review in the Endorphin Speed. Yeah, I'm really interested to get my hands on that one. Really interested to try it out. I was a big fan of the original Zoom Fly with the carbon infused nylon plate. That was a good shoe. So I'm hoping for something with a little kick like that. Joe Gravel, listen to Andrew WK on advice. Interesting artist. Yeah, he is really interesting. A superb piano player. And he has a very infectious kind of view on life and on music. I think he kind of got into music when he was a kid by hearing like a classical mega mix. It's really quite amazing. He was a cool guy as well when I met him. He was a really, really nice guy. He was so appreciative that people come and listen to his music. And he said to me, you know, when I was playing music as well, he says, every gig, give it everything you've got. Even if it's for one person, still give it everything you've got. And I really like that. DD says, make hay while the sun's shining. That's the one I was thinking of. James says, Kafuzi also seems to rate the Pegasus 37. Yeah, I'm not discounting the 37 yet, but it just feels to me as if they're going backwards with that shoe. Certainly in the higher sizes. I know some of you guys are enjoying it, but in the higher sizes that Tim Gross and Fodrunner and myself have got, it's just quite a heavy shoe, really. Steve A says, how many Earth credits for forthcoming EDDBUD running top? I'm not sure on pricing and stuff at the moment, Steve, but what I will do is when I get the first batch, I'm probably going to have some sort of draw. It's not going to be like the Adidas one, you know, people could well actually get one of the t-shirts, but I'll probably have a draw for the first few just to get those out there, and then we'll start sort of selling them as well. Kurt Steeg says, hello folks. Hello Kurt. He's listening to Man City v the Liverpool. Yeah, I know they're playing at the moment. That must be a bit salty for the Man City players with Liverpool grabbing the title from them. Mike Z, he's here for EDDBUD, dad jokes and shoe addiction. Those are things that you will certainly get here, Mike Z. That is part and parcel. We have the Beast as well. The Beast is here, asleep on the floor, motionless, kind of like a furry slug. That's kind of what it looks like right now. It's not very happy because there's obviously been stuff moving around in the house like all day for the last 3-4 days, and cats don't like change. They do not like change at all. Crispin Greco says, do you trust online shoe purchasing 100%? Crispin, over here in the UK there are so few running shoe stores now. Even before lockdown there were quite minimal. If you're in a city, no problem, but where I live in a smaller town, I mean the closest one from here is probably like an hour away, so I have to trust online purchases, but I try to do as much homework on those purchases as I can before I go for them, so I don't get too many duds. I haven't got any bad sizing duds of recent time. Fred B. Kevin says Asics Nimbus 22 or the 1080. I haven't tried the Nimbus 22. Maybe one of the people in the chat have. I haven't tested that one out. They might be able to help you out better than I can. James says a Nike Joyride, nay. Haven't heard anything positive. It's not one I would go for personally. I have heard that people, when they got the shoe wet, actually they managed to get all the beads and stuff wet and got water inside the shoe, so I'm not too sure about those. I think they've always been a little bit of a what's the word, I don't know, a bit of a fad shoe. I can't really see that one sticking around for a long time. James Cushing says, any chance on reviewing the Brooks Glycerin 18? Tempted by those or the New Balance 1080. I'll tell you what, the 1080 seems an incredibly popular shoe. When we did the viewer top 5, I mean, I remember somebody saying it was more like a popularity thing. It wasn't really like that. I know you guys get out there, you know your shoes. My viewers know their shoes. You know what works for you, and that's what counts. That shoe was right up there. Lots of you are really enjoying the 1080, so I haven't tried the Glycerin 18. I don't know too much about that one, but the 1080, a really good solid shoe for me. Mr. McLovin says, best running watch. My favourite running watch has been my Apple Watch. I really like the interface. I teach human-computer interaction, so I'm really into interfaces, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether certain methodologies and principles of interface design have been used within the watch interface itself. And I do look at some of the other manufacturers and I think, really? You know, I know Mike Kafusi did a review on a watch today. There's like one physical button, and I just think when you're doing a physical sport and it's capturing data for you, I really do agree with him that you need additional physical buttons on that watch to make it a really usable device. So for me, I really like my Apple Watch. It's got some good features there. You've got a couple of different physical buttons. One of them's got an additional movement as well. I don't know what they call it, it's like the wheel. That works really well for me. GPS seems pretty good on there, relatively stable, so that's the one for me. Didi says, what music am I listening to at the moment? I've got a new album that my father-in-law got for me, which is by a band called Krungbin, and they produce, a lot of the time, they're instrumental tracks, really beautiful Fender Strat playing on there, some really nice almost hip-hop style drums. So that's what I've been listening to recently, and the absolutely fantastic Jonathan Richman. If you've not heard of Jonathan Richman, do get out there and listen to some of his stuff, perhaps with the Modern Lovers, that was his group. Dancing Late at Night is a great track. That Summer Feeling, that's really good. I Was Dancing at the Lesbian Bar as well, that is a superb song. And Everyday Clothes as well, which is all about like when he met his wife and like what she was wearing, and they're going to go to a party and she can't decide what she's going to wear. So he's like telling her, just wear your everyday clothes because you still look beautiful. He's a wonderful songwriter, one of the very best actually, Jonathan Richman. Oh, I could talk all day about Jonathan Richmond. That guy is just fantastic. You may have seen me in some of the videos actually, people wearing my Modern Lovers t-shirt. It's like a purple one. That's a treasured possession, even though it's got a few holes in it now. I love it. They're always the best t-shirts, aren't they? Those ones you've worn loads and you wash them loads and they just start feeling really good, you know, whenever you put them on, you're like, oh yeah, this is good. You always aim for that t-shirt in the drawer. It's like, this is my favourite t-shirt. That's the one I'm going to wear. Mike Gamba says, Mizuno NRZ. Yeah, I saw that one. This that got that crazy outsole on it. Do you know, I really want to try it. I want to see what it's like. Can you imagine if you rocked up to a race wearing those bad boys? People would respect you. They'd be like, that guy is either a really, really brilliant runner or it's... I want to try that shoe. It looks interesting. James would love to see a barefoot style shoe review. Whoa. If I can find a good stretch of land, James, that is safe enough for my my pristine toes, I shall see what we can do. CP Run says 40 Runs did a review on the Prisms recently. Yeah, I think maybe that was the one I saw. They were like really bright yellowy green colour. Super Run says best shoe for 4-foot striker, asking for a friend. If you're going to go 4-foot striking, I would go Rebel or I'd go Takumi Sen 6. You've got to be up on the 4-foot with those shoes. Certainly the Takumi Sen. It's a punisher otherwise. And the light striker, yeah, it's not the same. There will be a video coming up. It might be very late this evening UK time, which I've recorded, but I've got to edit and put together, which is going to be a match-up against the Takumi Sen 6 and the Asics Meta Racer. So that will be coming up very soon, guys. Keep an eye out for that one. Or even, you could keep both eyes out for that one. So you don't just have to use one. That would reduce your efficiency to only 50%. So, yeah. Might like the original Zoomfly 2 even. Mr. Random, Jameson Michael just put a review up of the Saucony Ride 13. Yeah, I've seen he's reappeared, Jameson Michael again. He disappeared for a while, but I'm glad to see he's back. He's back again. Roadrunner Reviews just got his SL20s for $72. That's a good price. Gavin Braden, I have well and truly joined the EDDBUD Reebok revolution. Ordered another 2 pairs of Energy 2 for £34. Andrew WK, Party Hard was nearly the first dance at my wedding. Gavin, you are a legend. I did try to get Mrs. EDDBUD to let us use that one, but in the end what we did was we played a bit of a trick on everybody at our wedding. So for the first dance, what song did we... Oh, was it Bryan Adams, I think it was. And then I basically did an edit after the first verse and, like, you know, the vinyl scratch. And then we had I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness. And we'd worked out a little dance routine as well. And people enjoyed that, I think. We enjoyed it anyway. It was our wedding, so... If we're not enjoying it, then how can we expect anyone else to enjoy it? Mark says the Peg 37 is just not very comfortable in the upper. Yeah, it seemed to compress a little bit underfoot for me after a little while, Mark. After that 15-mile run, on mile 13, I had to loosen the shoes up. Where I'd tied them to get a good lockdown, my foot had expanded. It just really started hurting. It was not a nice feeling there. And it's always a bit of a pain when you have to stop and mess about when you're closer to the end of a long run like that. Mano says, Ed, if you could release your own shoe tomorrow, what style and what would you call it? I love the positive vibe. Totally agree. Awesome, Mano. What style would I have? I think I'd go for a more daily type shoe. I wouldn't want something with a massively high stack height. I think I'd probably mix together a little bit of the Pegasus 35. Maybe it's not a tongue that was quite so long. I did like the curves on that shoe. I don't think I'd go for like an airbag or anything in the midsole. I think I'd go for Power Run PB. I'd have that in the midsole. And then on the outsole, I'd have the rubber from the Reebok Run Fast 2. There you go. That's a shoe and a half. Oh, if only I could put that together right now. That's the shoe I want to run in a moment, I think. It's like when you go to the supermarket and you're really thirsty and all you put into your basket is drinks like orange juice, some Diet Coke, maybe Cherry Coke. Actually, I love Cherry Coke. And just things that you because you're thirsty. I think that's what I want right now. I want to run fast later on now. Maybe it's meta racer time later. Mr. Random says, don't think the Peg 37's too bad. I'm size 11 and a half. It's not heavy to me. It feels just a little clunky. It's just something with the React for me. It's just not quite working out for me. It's not the worst shoe that I've worn, for sure. But Joe, yes, I will be shipping internationally when we get everything ready. So do not worry, my good friend. Mark says, best thing about the Peg 37 is the way it looks. Oh, it's, it's certainly a handsome looking shoe. That is for sure. Wang's here from Singapore. How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I very much appreciate it. Jimmy says, any wisdom on getting rid of ITB pain? It's been messing me up last week. I'm not too familiar in methods to get rid of that. I touch wood. Have I got any wood here? Yep. Touch wood. I've been really lucky of recent time in terms of injury. Just a little bit of a back issue a while ago. In terms of IT band pain, if anyone's got any help there, please let Jimmy know. It looks like a few of you have actually commented on that already. Thank you for that, guys. I really appreciate helping out the other runners. That is a good thing. Wang likes the 1080, says it works very well for him. Guys, if you are in the chat, please do hit that like button. It really does help out the channel a great deal. It really does help us to get to the toppermost of the poppermost, as John Lennon apparently used to say to the rest of the Beatles before they were going to go on stage and rip it up. Dan Morris says, more running shoes or more guitars? At the moment, Dan, Miss EDDBUD is not particularly happy with me because there are 4 guitar cases on our dining room table. There's a Jazzmaster, there's a Johnny Marr Jaguar, there's a Rickenbacker 330 in the midnight blue, and there is also my Telecaster that I got recently, my 50s telly. So those need to move at some point, and the only place that they can come is into the shoe sanctuary. So it will then be the shoe and guitar sanctuary. But I kind of like having the guitars out, so you can tinker around on them. When there's a lull in the day, you can pick them up and plonk away. Timothy Betts, he likes Krungburn. They're from Texas. Oh, okay, awesome. I didn't know they were from Texas. Awesome. Yeah, it's really nice, the new album. Sounding good. Sounding really nice. Didi says, thanks for answering my question. No problem at all. That's why I'm here. And mentioning Jonathan Richman, I'm going to check him out. You will love Jonathan Richman. Every album is good. They're all good in different ways as well. He's done some cool Spanish tunes. He's done some old style rock and roll, some doo-wop sort of stuff. Some romantic kind of ballads, all sorts of things. There's a good one he did called I Have Come Out to Play. That's a great song. That'll be a good song when the lockdown's gone and we can all get out there and play again, Oh, I'm a bit sad, Robin, that isn't an actual shoe. It's just a concept model. They need to release that shoe. I will try it out. I think it looks interesting. Soupy's going to keep both eyes peeled. Mr. Random, here are old school classic hip hop song. Eric B and Rakim. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Yeah, Eric B and Rakim. I really was into the later 80s hip hop. There's a really good documentary series actually on Netflix I was watching a little while ago. I might have to get back to watching that now. I've got a little more time. The last couple of weeks have been pretty manic, so it'd be good to get back and check out some of those old hip hop sounds. Paul Kane says I should set up a Spotify running playlist. I have to say, Paul, that I have never used Spotify. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm stuck in the past. I think I probably am a little bit stuck in the past. But I need to investigate that and see if I can set up a good long run playlist for you guys. Maybe different beats per minute, so you can lock in with the steps per minute. You know, that's always a good thing to do. Siegfried says Road Trail Run also did a review of the Prism. I think that was the one that I saw. Yeah, some really nice pictures there at Road Trail Run. I like the fact they take some really high res pictures and put those in with the video. Yeah, that guy gets out there as well and uses the shoes, so some good miles as well. I like that when someone does that. You know, a quick nip round the street or something, it doesn't really cut it for me. You've got to get out there and grind the shoe down a little bit. Charles Harmer says, have I ordered the Adizero Pro? Yeah, that one's on the way. I can't remember, I think was it royal blue or something? It's got a lime, not a lime colour, sort of like a fluorescent sort of yellowy colour on the bottom. Diddy says you should play guitar for us. I think I will try to do that at some point. I have actually written a track for the Running News. A full-on sort of guitar, drums, bass, you know, fleshed out version of the track that I did on the ukulele a little while ago, so I will try and drop that in soon. Steve A says, how is Mrs. EDDBUD? Oh, thanks for asking, Steve. I do appreciate that. She's... Miss us threatening to sell my Nikes. Yeah. She's feeling pretty tired at the moment towards the ends of the day. We've got about just over 6 weeks to go before the little person appears now, so it's exciting times. She did get herself a new car today, actually. It's a really nice kind of SUV type thing. It's really cool. I don't know much about cars. The only rubber that I burn is on the bottom of my shoes. But yeah, she's doing good. Thanks for asking, Steve. I really appreciate that. I'll pass on my regards to her. Super says ITB pain caused by weak glutes. Oh, resistant spans, hip bridges. Yeah, I just seem to really be on a good vibe at the moment in terms of fitness. Just consistently doing some light stretching beforehand and warming up in that first mile. That seems to really work for me. Frankie says, do I do any weight work? I'm keen to get into the gym too, but don't want to compromise my running. I don't do any weights, no. I just move big bits of carpet around. That's all I do at the moment. Lift guitar amplifiers. That's how I did my back injury, I remember now. It was lifting the guitar amplifier down the stairs. If you're a guitar player and you've got a Vox AC15 amplifier, don't move it down the stairs. It's going to wreck you running. You're going to be out for ages. You're going to be in pain. And there's nothing worse, is there, than a runner who's got some sort of injury. Can you imagine what we're like in the house? Are you going out for a run today? No, I've done me legs in again. Oh, don't talk to me. Yeah, it's a bit like that situation, isn't it, when we can't run? It's a terrible thing. I don't even want to think about it. It's just making me feel upset and sad, not being able to run because of injury. It's not a thing you wouldn't wish on anyone. Mr. Jameson says, foam roll those quads and strengthen your glutes. Yeah, that's always a good plan. Yeah, once I've moved the guitars, Roadrunner reviews, I'll see if I can bring something up and set up an amplifier. It'll have to be relatively quiet though, because I don't want to wake Beast up because she's asleep on the floor down here. We got some more questions coming in here. Someone says at the bottom there, the Energy is a real shoe. $300. Wow, that's an expensive shoe. That's an expensive shoe. Frankie Jenkins says, Miss Jemison, I used to go maybe 1 or 2 times a week, but now I'm much more into running. What exercises do you do? Awesome. So good to see you guys getting into the gym. I think if I could do anything, I'd improve my core strength, do a little bit of work on the arms. That's probably where I'm lacking, on that arm, that drive, you know, the arm drive. It's an important thing. Charles said he's ordered the black version of the Adizero Pro. Awesome, Charles. Let me know in the comments over on one of the videos how you're getting on when those arrive. There was a bit of lead time on those. I think they said they wouldn't come for about another 2 or 3 days, so we've got a little bit of time before those arrive. Mr. Jemison says he does find that doing weights helps prevent injury. I think that's a very reasonable thing to say. I think doing a little bit of everything here and there, building up, maintaining the body, but not pushing any one specific thing too much, I think that really does help. Gary Beattie says that Adidas and New Balance run small. Yeah, I do find that they run small for me. I tend to go up half a size in New Balance and Adidas shoes, just to give myself a little bit of extra room. The only one I haven't had to do that in was the Adios 4. That one was okay, true to size for me. But some of the others I've had to go up half a size. Got lots of chats coming in. Robin says, did anyone win the raffle for the Adios Pro? I sadly didn't know. We've not heard of anyone else winning it so far. I'd be really keen to see if anyone did. I might do a poll or something to see if anyone out there, one of the viewers perhaps, has actually managed to secure a pair of those. When I tried to actually even enter the draw, the server just kept throwing up some errors and things. So, who knows? Swagarino Blackarino says, hi Ed, what's your half marathon PB? Half marathon PB would be in that time trial I did the other day. So it was 1 hour 33. Which wasn't too bad, considering my run-in with the ants when I stopped to grab my gel and throw some water on my face. Basically all the stuff I had that I put out near the front of my house, which is kind of like my refueling station, was covered in ants. So I had to try and get rid of those little guys off of my stuff so I could continue. But I'm thinking of doing another one relatively soon. Maybe towards the end of next week. I'll give it another go. Charles Harmer can't wait for his Adidas Adizero Pros. He's hoping to get them next Monday. And I read this start to work from 4. Yeah, you need to push up the pace in those. I think that's where they're gonna work well for you at the higher paces. Sounds like Man City are 1-up with a penalty. Oh no. They'll want to get one over on Liverpool today, that's for sure. Wang says, anyone managed to get the black or white next percent? Yes, I did see there was a black and white. Isn't it interesting that they are still knocking out some colourways of the next percent? That's clearly a shoe that's going nowhere. That's going to stay in the lineup for a while. So you've kind of got 37, maybe the Tempo, next percent, you've got the next percent, and then the Alpha Fly on top of that. So that looks like the pyramid of Nike shoes there. Maybe there's another one as well, that more race flat style shoe that we keep seeing with Zoom X. He had a hard time pulling out the credit card. Oh yeah, I think we've all been in that situation recently, Wang. There's just so many shoes. I think it was Mr. Random mentioned to me yesterday that there were 10 shoes out yesterday. New shoes. That is just mad. Correction says, Jack Rabbit, I have a sale starting today. A deal for 2 for $50 on select models. He's got Reebok Float Ride 1s for 25 bucks. That is amazing. What a deal. That's a great deal. Mark struck out on the Adizero Pro as well. Oh, sorry, the Adizero Adios Pro. James says, approximately how many pairs of running shoes do you own? I'm not even sure anymore. I'm not even sure. There's a lot. There's a lot of shoes. A hell of a lot of shoes. I have given a couple of pairs away recently to a local runner who's the same size. He wasn't too fussed, they had 100 miles or so. But I've got to start minimising things in here a little bit. Yeah, Robin says he was ready to throw his $200 to Adidas without ever seeing a single review. So Sylvian says, have I tried the Saucony Ride 13? No, not yet. I need to do a little bit of research on that shoe. Perhaps it's one that will appear in a forthcoming running shoe, yay or nay. So do look out for that. Alessandro says he's going to try some Adidas trail shoes. They look interesting and on sale. So he's ordered those up to give them a try. Let me know how those go, Alessandro. Swaggerino says you got the Evo Rides and the Saucony Endorphin Speed. Oh, but you will enjoy those. You will enjoy those shoes. It's got to be economical for the rest of the month. Sitting now 2-0 up with Sterling. Oh dear. Dear oh dear. Steve A says, please can you do a plated shoe review of your versions you have and the ones you get by September. Do you mean the carbon plate ones? I'll probably do a huge carbon plate shoe kind of shoe off review comparison thing. Perhaps once I get the Adios Pro. No, sorry, the Adizero Pro. I'm not sure any of us will be able to get the other one. Charles Hammer, what would Bekele wear on his next marathon? I'll tell you what, that man can run incredible speeds in the next percent. Would he go for the Alpha Fly with the extra weight? Don't know. I think he'll probably stick next percent. I think quite a few people will. Alessandro says, I hope they will be good in the rain because of the outsole. Yeah, trail shoe you need some good grip on the outsole. Certainly if you're going to be running around in some foresty conditions, it tends to suck the rain up, and you get that in the dirt and in the soil. So hopefully there'll be some decent traction for you. Frankie says, what is my day job? Frankie, I am a lecturer in IT and computing. So I've been doing that for around about 7 or 8 years now. Before that I was a teacher in music, and before that I was an IT technician. And interspersed with that at several points, I was a professional musician, so I used to make all sorts of types of music. Anything from drum and bass to jungle, to breakbeat, hip hop. At one point I was producing a lot of hip hop beats for some local rappers, and also love 50s music. 50s and 60s music is my love, really. That's my chief love. So all sorts of different music. Charles has got 30 pairs of casual sneakers. Wow, that is cool, Charles. What's your favourite pair, Charles? Let me know. If I pan down, it just keeps going, Timothy. It keeps going. It's madness. I seem to have like this stuff everywhere in here as well. There's like insoles lying around that I need to put back where they're into the shoes that they came from. Yeah, I'll check out that Jamie reviews of the Ride 13. That looks interesting. Professor EDDBUD. I like the sound of that. Shoe professor, perhaps. Yeah, so Steve, I will work on that carbon plate shoe thing probably over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, New Balance RC. That's one that we haven't seen anything about yet. New Balance have got hundreds of different types of shoes out, it seems. So many. All different types of fuel cell implementations and stuff. So, be interesting to see what the RC comes out as. I don't know, Siegfried. Jamie mentioned that he just taken a bit of a break for a little while, just to do some other stuff, you know. I hope everything's cool with him. Yeah, I love Jamie's reviews. I always love so he hasn't done one for a while, but like sort of funny intros and stuff. I really like those. They're cool. Matt von Bulow says, "Hey EDDBUD, he wants to know if I'd run in the Zoomfly 3. What did I think of them?" I wasn't a massive fan of the Zoomfly 3, I've got to be honest, Matt. It just didn't work for me. A little bit too heavy and clunky. I loved the Zoomfly Flyknit before that. But the Zoomfly 3 just didn't work out for me. Works out for lots of other people though. I think in the smaller sizes it's fine. It's a really good tempo shoe. Rob's a big drum and bass fan. Yeah, I used to be into people like Dillinger, Andy C, Photech as well. I love Photech stuff. Absolutely awesome from the 90s. Really great music. Worth checking out. And Boimerang as well. If you ever get a chance to check out Boimerang. Really superb. On the Leaf label. So I'm going to draw this one to a close in a few moments, guys. I know Kafuzi's got his live stream coming up, so some of you will want to jump over there and join in with Mike as well for some chat. So I do very much appreciate you heading into the live stream, and it's been great chatting with you today. Really enjoyed myself, and I hope you have too. So please keep a lookout. New videos coming up soon over the next few days, and we'll have another live stream over the weekend. I'll let you know in good time, because that seemed to really work out well today. There's lots of people in the chat. Do hit that like button. And, oh, someone said Ed Rush. Yes, Ed Rush was superb. Do hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next one.